pouring dreams with love, love. Susie's spark shines from above. Amy's colors twist and play. Sally keeps the tracks in sway. Tony waves from Georgie's side. This train's
Hi and welcome back to Georgie's Gorgeous Gift. This one's a bit of a mixture because I completely forgot about the Friendship Express video on Saturday, so I thought I'd show this today. So there are a few makes in this video, so let me know in the comments which one's your favourite at the end. So we're starting off with this coaster. My initial idea was to put a gold rim with UV resin around the edges. Now I did that and then decided that my end result and what I want to do with the wood pieces are not going to go with the glitter. So I decided to cure it anyway and keep it as a piece. So I am going to be putting some different lines in this and trying to make some sort of piece out of it. So it wasn't all to waste. But anyway, I managed to get loads of glitter everywhere. So if there are little bits of glitter, that's the reason why. So my resin has been sat a bit longer than I wanted it to be. It's been sat for about 25 minutes purely because I was undecided on the gold rim, etc. So we are just going to get cracking with it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the wooden pieces where I want them. Now these come in a bag of about 40 pieces, I think. About $3.50. I will link them in the description. They are off eBay. And I just think they're really cute. Right, so I'm going to pour the black around it, making sure that I get in all them gaps. I will get my brush and just get in on my stick and just get in them edges because it is a new mould. But I find with new moulds, if you give them a wash with some warm soapy water, then it releases the static from them. Right, now it doesn't really matter if it does get resin on the top because of what I want to do with them after. So I've mixed up some clear resin with some black pigment paste from Temu and just covering the whole coaster. Now potentially I could block off the channel that's underneath. That way I could use either side as the top. After making sure I had filled this with resin as far as I could, I then left it to cure. So by the magic of technology, within seconds it's now fully cured. So this is in fact take two because the mould that I've got here is a different mould completely. It's one that I've ordered without the ridge, so it is a slight bit smaller, but it gives me the option to use either side as the top, unlike the previous coaster. The idea is to use these acrylic paint markers to colour in the tops of these pieces of wood, all in different colours, the brighter the better, which is why it didn't matter when I said if it got resin onto the wood, then for what I wanted to do with it, it wouldn't make a difference because these acrylic paint markers will also go onto resin really well. So I did try to sand the front of this one back, but it just made life a lot difficult. So I thought start again and use the flat coaster. So these are dual tip markers. We have a thick end and a thin end on all. There's 26 colours in total. And I think they were under a tenner. So for the price, the coverage on these were really good. So my plan is to invest in a more expensive set because if the cheaper ones are this good, the more expensive ones have to be a lot better, surely. So I have sped this up for you because this did take quite some time, but I am just randomly picking a colour and then colouring in the tops of these pieces of wood. So I will apologise now because this video is a bit of an all sorts video. One, because I had some happy mail and I wanted to use the items in that, and two, because my video for the Friendship Express on Saturday got deleted, so unfortunately I couldn't upload that in time, but there are a few cool makes in this video, so stick around, you might enjoy them. So after finishing colouring all these, and I was happy with the colours I'd chosen, I then poured over a clear layer of resin. Now the edges of this coaster are slightly deeper, so the wood didn't come above the edge like on the previous one. So after making sure that it was completely covered, I then left this to cure overnight. The only problem is, what is this? It's too big to be a coaster, but too small to be a tray. Let me know in the comments what you use it for. I mean, to be fair, these pieces have come out quite well, better than the last one. Maybe it's because it was flat without the edge. It does need a bit of sanding around the edges, but other than that, the shine on this is absolutely beautiful. So before we go on to our next make, when I opened my mail yesterday, I was really surprised. My first proper bit of happy mail turned up, and I thought, I haven't ordered nothing from Amazon lately, and when I opened it, these two were in there, and I thought, how strange. And then there was a little note that said, "Hi Tony, you're amazing girl. Thought you might like a few of these prezzies from Stephanie." So Stephanie at Highland Crafts, I got quite emotional when I opened them and seen that. Yeah, I really do appreciate that so much. And do you know what, even things like this help my channel out loads, because these molds, they're not cheap, and the glass paint colours, I have the cheaper version from Temu, but these are brilliant. So yeah, this really helps my channel out. So thank you so much, Steph. Much love to you, my darling. I'm a bit of a technophobe when it comes to technology and stuff. Honestly, I hate it. And with having teenage girls, I've seen the damage that social media can do. But when it's used in a correct way to build a community like we have, it's a really beautiful thing. And I, for one, am really grateful to each and every one of you that supported my channel since I've started. Well, enough of the mushy stuff. Back to the video. So I'm just filling up these cavities with some clear resin. But this resin's been sat for about 40 minutes, so I'm not even sure whether this is even going to work. And I'm using the Let's Resin alcohol inks in orange, indigo and cerulean. Now, if you haven't got a colour wheel, I really suggest you get one, because since I've been using one and learned how to use one, my resin blooms and my alcohol inks have been so different. It tells you about split colours, complementary colours, and a whole lot more stuff that I really didn't know, because I used to really struggle with my alcohol inks muddying. Though I nearly forgot to add the white to this, so I did stir the one of them, and then good job I remembered. But I don't know whether you noticed with this one, but I'm only using a few drops of white in each of these cabochons. I'm not doing one for one, which you'd normally do. I'm just popping the random dots in, and then once it's set for about 10 minutes, I'm then dragging the white through to the different colours. Now this creates a really different pattern, and I was really pleased with the outcome. I mean, look how beautiful these are. I have sped this up for you because it did take a while to demould these few, but I am really pleased with them. I will pop some photos up at the end of the finished pieces, but I think they are looking really cool. I could watch these for hours, because every time you look in them, there's a different pattern, or you see something different. And once these are popped on two bezels, they look absolutely gorgeous. Now, I probably should have backed them, but I was unsure whether it even worked. The depth in these is stunning. So for this next piece, we're going to do something a little bit different, something that I've had in my head for quite some time, just never got round to doing it. As I said at the beginning of the video, this was a video that was supposed to be for the Friendship Express, but unfortunately, just as I was ready to save the whole lot, my editing app decided quit on me when my phone died and deleted the whole lot. So we're going with the same mould, and I'm just pouring some clear resin into these different cavities, but leaving just a little gap on the top to be able to pop a little bit more resin in. I'm also filling up this coaster with some clear resin. So we're going to try this technique on the smaller pieces as well as a bigger piece. Whether this will work or not, I'm really unsure at this point. So my resin's been through the mixer and then been through the degassing machine, so it is really bubble free. And then I'm also popping some resin into 4 little cups, and we're going to pop some mica powder into each of these. So the mica powder I'm using is all from the same brand. I will pop the name above because again I can't pronounce it, but I'm using the mauve, the cerise, the sapphire blue and the bright violet. And I'm just mixing them all into these different cups. Now my initial idea to use a needle for this wasn't going to work because I'd used it before. It was too sticky and this resin was way too thick. So I decided to use a pipette. Now I wanted to see whether you could inject different colours of resin into each other. So I will expand on this technique once I'd sort of see whether it works or not. But for this one, I'm just popping in random blobs with this pipette. What I should have done was mix up 2 batches of resin, one of which to go a little bit thicker and then the new batch to use for the injecting. So I have ordered some new needles and tips to give this another go because I really think that this technique's got potential. Because when you're injecting colours into this resin, it's not going anywhere else, it's not mixing anywhere, it's just a direct blob. Now if you've got a needle, potentially you can draw patterns and all sorts into this resin, but because mine wasn't working, after pouring in all the colours and injecting all the colours, I'm then using the needle, being really careful not to touch the mould with the end, as to scratch it. And I then popped the coaster into my curing machine. Now again, next time I won't do that because it did pull all the mica powder into the centre, whereas I left these to cure naturally. So I'm just getting my white pigment paste and mixing a bit up just to back these cabochons. Now I know I've said this many a time on my channel, but whenever I'm mixing in paste, I like to take it out halfway through, wipe my stick and then mix it in again, purely because you end up with so much unmixed paste on the end of that stick that really doesn't come off no matter how much you mix. So I'm just backing each one of these with the white resin. Now the frustrating thing about blooms and cabochons is that you can't see what they look like until you've demoulded them, so you never know whether to back them and what colour to back them with. But I was worried if I used black that it would be too much and overpower the rest of the colours and you wouldn't see them, so I'm using the white. So after giving these a top coat, I then do exactly the same thing to the large coaster. Once it's full, I'm just pushing it out to the edges to make sure that it is fully covered. And then I left these to fully cure. So I did pop them in my G3 and an hour later they were ready to demould. And I am really pleased with the way these have turned out. Really surprised that it's worked actually. But like I said, I think it would be lots better with the second batch of resin being thinner and using a needle to be able to draw different lines and patterns. But there's literally no other way that you can get these colours into resin like this, especially with mica powder, and they look really quite cool. Now there's a couple in this lot that I prefer more than the others, and this is one of them. The swirl in that is beautiful and it looks like a little moon. And this one reminded me of the yin and yang symbol with the blue and the pink. And with mica powders you get that beautiful shine, particularly with these ones. So there are a few things that I would do differently, but there really is great depth in some of these pieces. And like I say, the potential's there, I just need to tweak it a little bit. And using a thinner point, I'll be able to get more colours and more definition in the pieces and the lines that I create. So if you'd like to see more of this technique, don't forget to hit that bell button to receive all further notifications for upcoming videos. And I have hunted YouTube and I can't seem to find any videos on this technique. So we've used the mould that Steph kindly gifted me, and now it's time to use the glass paints. So now on to demoulding the coaster. Now, and I wasn't excited about this one because one, I think the mould has pretty much had it, and two, I knew that it had all pulled towards the centre. And that was because I popped it in my curing machine and it dried so fast that, yeah, it pulled it all too fast. But I'd say my mould has definitely had it. It's left like all scratches and patterns and all sorts on the top of this coaster. But as a practice run, I suppose it turned out okay. I think definitely with the smaller needle tip, I think we're going to have better results. So we'll try this again at some point. Now on to the final piece. So like I say, I wanted to use these items. So for the mirror project for Halloween, I ordered what I thought was 4 mirrors. and I must have ordered them from 2 different places. So I've now got 8 30cm square mirrors to play with. So I thought, what better to use these on than an actual mirror. So this is a 3D template from Pour Away Fluid Arts off Facebook. The link is in the description, and her stencils are absolutely beautiful. I have in fact used these for coasters, so I will link that video above. So if you like these stencils, check that video out because the coaster stencils are absolutely beautiful. So as you can see, I've sped this bit up for you, and I did in fact make an orange and purple, so we had a few more colours, and just coloured in all the bits that I could. And then removed the stencil really carefully as to not smudge any of the paint. And as long as you wash the stencil with warm water straight away, I can now reuse this for resin. I think this on a mirror is going to look absolutely beautiful. So because none of these flowers are joined up, what I initially wanted was a black thin tip pen to go around all the edges, but unfortunately I didn't have one. So I just used the same acrylic paint markers that I did before, just to draw in all the stems and join them up properly. I have in fact ordered a thin tipped black pen that will draw on glass, just to go all the way around the edges of these flowers, and I think that will make it pop. But I really like it. So thank you, Steph. I really do appreciate it. So if you would like to support my channel, all the links are in the description. Now, I know this video has been a bit random, but I didn't have a chance to show you the end result of these coasters from the Froggy Friday video linked above, as I was rushing and didn't have enough time to finish them. So the little points of these mirrors were sticking out, so I just got a metal file that I use for my glass and just filed the corners off. To make it all smooth again, I will in fact pop a top coat on this just to seal everything in. But at the minute I'm just getting rid of what's left of them pointy edges. But now it's been demoulded, you can see the mirrors all round the edge of this coaster. And I forgot to show you, it glows in the dark. So I've popped the light off here so that you can just see how much these really do glow. I mean, that coaster, the glow on that is gorgeous. And you can just about see the green glow reflecting in all these mirrors. I wish there was a way to get that entire sticker glow in the dark. So I charged up this little coaster just a little bit more to get the proper effect. And this is what I had in mind when I started to make it, this kind of look. So we've got the reflection from the mirrors bouncing off each other. We've also got the reflection bouncing off the light, and it glows in the dark. Now it's been charged up a bit. You can see it now glowing in the dark. I really like these pieces. So I know this video has been a bit random, but I hope you've enjoyed it nonetheless. So all that's left is for me to leave you with some glamour photos. I've been Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts. Thanks for bearing with me. Stay safe, happy crafting, and bye for now.
The Friendship Express. We create with love, no time for stress. Pour it, spin it, watch it glow. Together we're the art that flows. And boxy rivers, marble skies, swirling worlds in every size. A resin sea, a glossy crest. All aboard, you're with the best. Laughter paints the journey bright. The resin art by candlelight. All aboard the Friendship Express. We create with love, no time for stress. Pour it, spin it, watch it glow. Together we're the art that flows.